I've got another video for you. I've managed to squeeze yet another one out because I found a bit of extra time today and my flight is delayed. So initially I was going to get picked up at 1 o'clock in the morning. It's now just after 8 p.m. Tuesday night. And my flight's delayed a couple of hours, which means I'm not going to get picked up till 3 in the morning. So probably I should just be going to bed and getting some sleep. But I'm a little bit excited. So I am doing my everything I wore in August video. I've never done one of these before, and the reason I'm doing this one is because I set myself a challenge this month. So when I had Rich Mitch on the channel, we did a live stream, and he said in July, not only did he do No by July, he also set himself a challenge of wearing a different fragrance every single day. And I thought that I would give that a go because I've got a lot of perfume and there's a lot of things that don't get touched. I might not wear some of my fragrances for months on end. So I thought it would be a great opportunity to kind of force me to wear some things that I haven't worn for a while. And so I thought I'd share with you what I wore and maybe what I learned during the month. So I put a hashtag on Instagram, and very, very catchy. It's called hashtag wearing a different scent every day in August. So if you click on that, if you search for that, you'll see all of my posts, and you'll also see Maddie from the Vegan Perfume Girl Instagram also took part. So she didn't do a post every day, but I think she did a weekly roundup. I didn't do a post every day. I tried for a while. There's quite a few posts, but I didn't manage every day. However, I did wear something different every single day. My rule was I wasn't doing this to be hard on myself. So my rule was my main fragrance, and it could be the day fragrance or the night fragrance. More often than not, I wear one during the day and then another one during the night. So the only rule was that every day, as a main fragrance, I wore something different. So if I wanted to respray a fragrance I'd already worn on an arm, for example, or as a nighttime fragrance, then I was allowed to do that. Because I didn't want to deprive myself from what I really love. I just wanted to make sure I wore something different every single day. Does that make sense? I hope so. So I've kind of organised them a little bit here. We'll start with, you'll be pleased to know, those of you who consider me a niche snob and think I should talk about designers more, you'll be pleased to know there's a good handful of designers here. So I'm going to start with the designers, and if you're only interested in designers, then you can skip away from the video once we've finished those. If you're only interested in niche, you can skip forward until I start talking about niche. So one that I wore only yesterday actually was Miss Dior Blooming Bouquet, and I have to say this is an immense fragrance. It is so good. I'm not going to go into too much detail on any of these because we're going to be here forever, but it's a rose and kind of like a syrupy fruit, a little bit fresh. I think there's some citrus in there. I think there's probably patchouli. It feels a little grown up but not too mature, and I wore it actually yesterday, and then I stayed over at Sam's, and then when I put my clothes on to come home, the scent from my clothes from this was amazing, and it made me think, wow, this perfume is so good, really long lasting, a really excellent designer perfume. Miss Dior, absolutely blooming. Also from Miss Dior line is this Discontinued one. It's called Le Parfum. This one is a lot more mature smelling. It has a little bit of a vintage feel to it. It's kind of harsh, really sharp to start with, and for a while it's rose and patchouli again, but it just has this almost like a hairspray kind of feel, and then it's a little bit ambery in the dry down. So it does have some sweetness but not a lot, so it's not a typical girly scent. It's definitely more mature, and that's Le Parfum. Sticking with Miss Dior, I got the brand new version, and this is the 2021 reformulation of Miss Dior. This one you can recognize as different because it actually has a fabric bow, and this is actually my scent of the day today, and this is a soft pink fluffy rose, lots of powder, some vanilla. I think it's actually benzoin that's listed, but it smells vanilla-y to me as well, and it makes me think of makeup and powder, and it's just very pretty, very easy, but quite long lasting. I'm quite impressed with that, so I really like that. And one that I absolutely love, another discontinued one, is My Insolence from Guerlain, and this is actually not that dissimilar to the Miss Dior I just showed you. This one, however, has orange blossom. It has lots of vanilla, lots of musky powder, and a little bit of it's got an almond blossom note, and it just lends it that kind of almondy yet fluffy musky nuance that is just absolutely beautiful, really long lasting. It's an eau de toilette, acts more like an eau de parfum, and I love it. I've got 3 bottles of this. I don't really do backup bottles, but I do when it comes to My Insolence. Very early on in my challenge, I wore this one, Fleur d'Orchidée from Karl Lagerfeld, and this is basically a beachy fragrance similar to Tom Ford Soleil Blanc or Guerlain Terracotta, very much in that vein. Very classy smelling, very easy, very uplifting, pretty white florals and vanilla, bit suntan lotion like, but no coconut, I don't think. No, maybe there is a bit, but it's a nice beachy scent, very, very affordable. So if you like Tom Ford Soleil Blanc, you can't afford it though, then I would totally go for this one, and it's only going to cost you about £15 or thereabouts. This is a La Belle from Jean Paul Gaultier. It's a very rich vanilla with a syrupy pear. It's quite simple. I think there's probably some ambroxan or some aroma chemicals that make it very modern. In fact, I'd be surprised if there's one natural in here. It does have a very synthetic feel, but it's also really pleasing on the nose and very, very addictive. So I enjoyed wearing that one. This is another discontinued one. Sorry, a lot of discontinued in here. This is called Alien Taste of Fragrance, also known as Goutte du Parfum, which is kind of like Essence Absolute. If you know that, it's quite similar. This has like a little bit of a salty caramel-ish kind of note to it. Still smells like Alien to a degree, but the jasmine isn't quite so big in here, and the fragrance itself isn't quite so loud and far-reaching as the original formula Alien. It's a little less in your face. It's still quite hefty though, but it's not as hefty as the Alien you may know and love or maybe hate. So that's Alien Taste of Fragrance. Now this one was worn on a warm day. We haven't had that many of those despite it being summer. This is Daisy Twinkle, another discontinued one, but it's not so different from Daisy Oh So Fresh. So this one's called Oh So Fresh Twinkle, and it's basically a pretty floral, fruity, a little bit of violet in there. I think it's sort of berries, but it's not a sickly, syrupy, particularly sweet fragrance. It's got more tartness, zinginess, freshness, and it's perfect for warmer days, and it actually is quite long lasting as well for an eau de toilette. This one is Agonis, the Infidels, and this is, it's very incensey yet citrusy yet really powdery fragrance, and it reminds me of going into those shops that sell incense. Like there's loads and loads and loads and loads of different incense packets everywhere, not smoky, not lit, just in packets, very powdery, almost a little bit like a Lush bath bomb as well. So that is the Infidels. This is Violet in Love from Nicolai. Used to be called Parfums de Nicolai, and now it's called Nicolai Parfumer. And my bottle's a little dirty, it's giving it all clean. Violet in Love is a fruity violet scent, so it's raspberry and violet. I think there's some iris and a little bit of, what is it? I'm not sure if there's a little bit of vanilla in there. It's kind of tart. It's kind of tart and fresh. I think there's some citrus in there that lifts it up without it smelling like a citrus cologne. Just a really lovely, fresh, fruity violet scent. And I really love it as a grab and go, easy reach fragrance. Perfect in the warmer weather. Now we're going to do one brand. And I've got 6 from this one brand. So I'll try and do it as quickly as I can. Honey Amber, this is probably my favourite from the brand, but it's not, because I really love Sacred Ground and I really love Embers as well, but this one is my most addictive. This is one I've reached for and worn the most. As you can see, I have made that bigger dent in it. So Honey Amber is a floral amber. It smells like white florals but honeyed and sitting on a gorgeous ambery base, and I find it so addictive. It's got frangipani in it. I've just remembered it's got a big dose of frangipani and it's beautiful. So Honey Amber. This one is brand new to me and it's called Tea Rose Mimosa, and it's the limited edition, so it has real ambergris in it. Still getting to know it, but I have worn it once, and it has this sexy, musky, naughty little thing going on in it, which I think is the ambergris. It's got some kind of I guess you'd call it like it's got powdery nuances, it's got some rose, of course, it's got mimosa, and it does have that yellow pollen-y feel, but it's not really it's not a cloying mimosa. Like mimosa can sometimes be a bit cloying to me, and this isn't. So still getting to know it. If you need reviews of any of this stuff, do let me know and I will try, I promise. Embers, this is, I've spoken about it so much, it's ridiculous. It smells a bit like honeycomb today, actually. It's got real Mysore sandalwood. It's got the most beautiful vanilla in the world, and it's just stunning. And then we have Sacred Ground. As I say, this one is amazing. It's absolutely immense. It's got so many notes in here, ingredients that I don't even know what they are. But it's kind of warm, spicy, yet earthy, a little honeyed, a little bit like Coca-Cola, really long lasting, and like nothing else. And I'm mad about this. I honestly think it is a masterpiece. Sacred Ground. This was the perfume that Teone made especially for me, and in sort of loving memory of my beautiful pussycat Sweetie. So this one is it's so delicious. It's kind of, it reminds me a little bit of Honey Amber, but it's more unctuous and thicker, and perhaps there's a little bit of indolics, so that means it's got a touch of an animalic feel to it, which would make sense. It's about my beautiful pussycat, but I don't really know how to describe it, except to say it's quite I guess it feels a bit gourmand, and I really love it, and it's really special. And you can see that I've made a fair dent in it, and I usually choose this one as like an amulet. So I've worn it to a lot of medical appointments, and where I felt like I needed protection and love around me. So that is Sweetie. And then also from Teone is Blue Lotus. This was my very first, all my bottles are dirty. This is my very first foray into Teone Reinthal perfumes, and it was a blind buy, and it was very successful at that. Blue Lotus has, I think it's Ylang, Blue Lotus and Frangipani, and it sits upon a slightly creamy Mysore amber base. Very delicately done. It feels kind of fresh with a rich sweetness at the same time. So sometimes I think this is the perfect summery scent because it's got this beautiful fresh floral, and then I think this is the perfect cozy scent because it's got more sweeter, richer undertones. Actually, it's just the perfect scent for any time, anywhere, any season. So now we go over here. Well, there's still loads. We had another hot day, so I wore Chanel Derville, which is a green fresh floral. It smells like fresh grass and it smells a bit peppery, and I think there's jasmine, there's probably a ton of citrus, maybe petitgrain, maybe neroli, I don't know. It's very fresh and fizzy. It's really fizzy and it's a bit green. Bee by Zoologist, bzzz, bee, and this one smells like honeycomb, smells like the inside of a crunchy bar with some ginger syrup and a little bit of an orangey nuances to it as well. Two from Masque Milano. We have Madeleine. So this is based on a chestnut cream dessert. Has a little freshness and then a little richness and definitely some creamy lactonic feels. And then La Tessa, which is an iris fragrance. It's very dusty and chalky and so good. There's a lot of iris. There's lots of different iris ingredients in here, and if you love iris, you will love it. This is Orlov and it's called Burning Desire, and it's a fruity violet, tart, citrusy, fresh, slightly syrupy fragrance. Perfect, something flirty and fun on a warmer day. I really enjoy that. Francesca Bianchi, Sex and the Sea Neroli. Love, love, love this. I wore this a lot in the spring. I really enjoyed this in the spring. This is, what is it? It's, you got some tuberose, so it comes off a little bubble gummy. You've definitely got some sweeter notes like vanillas and resins, and it's got a bitter sweetness about it. So it's got neroli, but it feels to me like it's probably got petitgrain and orange blossom, and it has this beautiful powderiness as well, and I just love, love, love it. And it's got real heft, even though it's kind of transparent, it's still quite strong and it really lasts, and it does very well in hot weather, but it also does brilliantly in the cooler weather. It really does have good projection, so I really enjoy that one. Rubicona, I wore this on a night out because this to me is my night out, going out special fragrance. Rubicona from Pure Distance is a patchouli scent, and I don't generally love patchouli, but it's patchouli with a gorgeous vanilla, and somehow the patchouli just works for me. There's some rose in here as well, and it's really special, especially once it's had half an hour or so to settle on the skin. It really does get amazing. Annabelle's Birthday Cake from Marissa Zappas. This is new to me and I'm actually wearing it right now. And this one has, obviously it's got some vanilla, it's got a tuberose frosting note, it's got the note of balloons, and it starts off kind of lemony orangey. It's almost like you've got a cupcake frosting that's been flavoured with lemon and orange, and a lovely kind of powderiness about it. It's quite a grown-up gourmand. It's not as childish as you might imagine a birthday cake fragrance to smell. It's not just a linear cake, smell like a cake full stop. It really is none of that. It's got a lot of changeability to it, and it's very delicately done. If Guerlain put this in a L'Art et Matière bottle, I wouldn't flinch. It would fit. So it's very, very good. This one I'm very obsessed with at the moment. This is also an arrival this month. It's called Ylang Nosy Bee from Paris, Monte Carlo. And to me, it's like rich, fruity ylang. So it's almost one of those ylangs that's got a little bit of a banana-y facet to it, and a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous vanilla mixed in, and I absolutely love it. It's so addictive. But from Zoologist, this is the current formulation, which is my favourite of the two, and it's earthy yet fruity yet floral. It's got jasmine, it's got gorgeous jasmine, but it's not really heady because you've got this soily kind of feel to it that keeps it very grounded, quite literally. And I really enjoy that. Don't wear it too often because it's an unusual scent, but when I do, I always wonder why I don't wear it more often. I actually used up this travel spray of Vanori from Sylvain Delacourt. It's tiny little droplet left, and it's just a really beautiful vanilla scent that also smells a little bit like kind of like a suntan lotion. Very classy though, really classy, not coconutty, but has that kind of smooth mono oil kind of feel, which I love. So that was really nice. I don't love it enough. I won't be buying any more. That was it. I've used it up, enjoyed it, and I'm done with that now. Now this is another out fragrance. I really love to wear this on a night out. It's another one that's dirty. I'm a dirty biatch. And it's called Woman in Gold from Kilian Paris. And this is a rose, and I'm not quite sure what the fruit is now. It feels like a slightly tart, pale pink fruit, a bit like I don't know if it's a lychee. What else could it be? Something tart yet pink, but not a raspberry. And rose and a little bit of vanilla when you get further into the dry down. Really nice, strong fragrance. It's really long lasting and project quite well, and to me feels special and night out worthy. So I wore that on a night out, Woman in Gold. And then finally is this one from 4160 Tuesdays, and this is the one, so it's got some writing on the back, and this one is the sexiest scent on the planet ever, IMHO. And then it was when you were able to customize perfumes, and I had iris, pear and violet added in, and I had that as my kind of like treat to myself when I lost Sweetie, and I asked them to write Sweetie on the bottle. Unfortunately that's kind of worn away from the front, and then they were really generous. They gave me a bigger bottle than I ordered and a lovely note and a few other extras. They were really sweet. But it is the sexiest scent on the planet ever. Still, if you know the fragrance, it is that, but the extras just they elevate it. The pear kind of adds this fresh fruity greenness, and the violet, well, violet, you know, violet's great. Add violet to everything, in my opinion. Add iris to everything. It makes everything good. So that's my own special customized version of the sexiest scent on the planet ever, IMHO. That is everything. So there's approximately 30 bottles here. Might not be exactly because I might have forgotten one or two things, but that is everything that I wore this month, give or take. And what did I learn? Well, there's loads of things here I wouldn't normally reach for, and thoroughly enjoyed it when I did. So I might challenge myself to try and wear more variety from my perfume collection in future, because sometimes you get something new and then you wear that sort of several days in a row, and then you go back to maybe something else that you've more recently purchased and you wear that. So this time, even though I had brand new things, I wasn't allowed to keep wearing them because I needed to keep wearing different stuff, and that was good. And it means that I've retried things from my collection that I maybe wouldn't have bothered to wear for a long time. So I enjoyed doing that. Let me know if you've done anything similar, or if you might do something similar going ahead. You don't have to do a whole month, you could do a week. And don't be hard on yourself. Don't set horrible rules. If you love something, let yourself spray it regardless of what rules you set. Anywho, that's it. I'm done. I'm going to go and try and catch a few Zeds before I have to get my cab at 3 AM. Wish me luck. Truth Within yesterday on a comment on my video suggested that I let everyone know on the day of my surgery, which is going to be Friday, that I'm going in for surgery, and that some of you might like to kind of wear a fragrance in solidarity. You might like to wear a fragrance because I'm going into surgery. So perhaps something with a pear note, or perhaps maybe even a gin and tonic, because I used to drink a lot of gin and tonic. I'm now allergic to that, by the way. Hopefully after I get these toxic things out of me, maybe my allergies and stuff will start to subside. But yeah, if you want to join me in you know, wearing a scent in kind of like that you know I would approve of, shall we say, then I will do a post. I'll do like a community tab post here on YouTube and an Instagram post, which would then go over to Facebook as well, and you can choose a perfume to kind of like show that you're sending me some good vibes. So yeah, so I'm going to do that anyway, so that would be great if you want to join in with that. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.